Hey, let's get started with a little bit of After Effects fun. So I have After Effects open here. And what I want to do is import video that I'm working with or one that I've rendered in another project or another software. And let's go ahead and do that right now. So I'm just going to go and choose something that I have here just sitting on my desktop. It could be anything. So I'm just going to I'll use this. All right. So I have imported an AVI. So it's a rendered project from another software. It doesn't really matter what software it is or where it's coming from, as long as this is a movie file. So this works out. An AVI.avi is a good file to work with. And so what I want to do is drag this down to my project area. And when I do that, you see it shows up in my timeline. So this bluish gray color here. Now this is showing the full timeline, so it's about 20 seconds long or so. If I wanted to zoom in or out, I could do that using this. So now I'm zoomed in, it makes everything look a lot, breaks it down by frames here. Zoom out, now it's by seconds. So my timeline is set to my movie length, but we can add time to that, so we can squeeze in some title sequence or credits and other effects that you want to put into your video. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to have this selected here. I'm going to go to composition settings. I can see right here the duration of this whole thing is set to 20 seconds. So I'm just going to add some time to it and just say, hey, it's going to be 30 seconds now. That should be plenty of time for intro credits and intro and credits, I guess. I'm just going to click OK on that. And so now I have a slider here and I can see my video ends here. And now there's extra 10 seconds or so that I can play around with. So let's say I want to do a title sequence for this. So let's get started with that. I'm going to choose a text tool, which is right up here on the top. And with that text tool, I'm going to place it wherever I want on my preview screen here. So let's click right here. You have all the different text tools and effects and all sorts of different fonts over here to play around with. I'm not going to play around with that, but you can choose your colors as well. Choose what you want and yeah, customize it just like you would in any other Adobe software. So I'm just going to put title sequence here. And you can see it's rather large. I can change that by adjusting this ahead of time, or if I've already have everything the way I want it, I can go to my selection tool, move this around, and I can scale this. Now, if I scale it like I do something in Photoshop, see how that works? Kind of weird, right? So that's not right. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to hold Shift and squeeze this down from this side because it wants to line up with the edge over here, because that's the way that I have it lined up in my paragraph tools right here. You can align it different ways. So it wants to align to the left side. So that's how that's working right there. So I'm going to have that something like this, and this is fine. You can see that when I added the text, it added a text layer right here, and it already says title sequence, which is based on what I have right there. So that's that. There's nothing added to it. The text, if you played it, would just show up the whole time. All right, so I don't really want that. What I want to do though is add some effects to it. I'm going to go to effects. I'm going to go to animation presets because that's always fun, and text. And within text, you have these different ones. Now, some of these will definitely take their toll on your computer and might slow it down quite a bit. I'm going to choose the first one right here that says center spiral. So I'm going to grab that and I'm going to apply it right to my text layer here. Drop it there. Now when I play, I can see it has some animated effects, but it's still there the whole time. So I'm going to stop that with the space bar. Now let's take a closer look at this layer. I'm going to open this up here. Check out these dots. These are telling me that there are keyed frames under the text tool. And now open that up more, I can see there's a spiral. It's keyed in right here. So if I back this up, I can see it's full spiral and then it's set to stop right there. Okay. If I open up the spiral, I can see even more details. It shows these little diamond shapes, which shows me that this is a rotation. So at this frame, it shows like 0, and then it goes to stops right there. It also has an opacity keyed frame also. So it's set to 0 right there. And on this one, it's set to 100. And then it stays there, right? That's not really what we want. I really want it to fade back out again. So I am going to apply that effect in there as well. So it's set to 100% opacity right here. And what I want to do is move a little bit down the line. And I'm going to hit the diamond shape right here, and that's going to add a keyframe. See how I added that right there. So that's set to 100 as well, because I don't want it to just go, all right, it's there, and then it's instantly fading out. I want it to be there for a second or so. That way I can give my audience enough time to read my my text. It should be something to, if it's up there, you should be able to read it 3 times pretty comfortably before it is gone. And so with that there for a second or so, I'm going to go right about here, and I'm going to add another keyframe. But with that one, I'm going to take this 100% and drag it down to 0. So now when I go back, plays, and then it's gone again. It's still a little fast. So what I could do is, this is the rotation. I want it, it's starting to fade out before it's even done rotating, which is not good. So I'm actually going to speed up the rotation. I'm going to grab that frame right there and put it right there. And so I'm going to say that rotation is finished now a lot sooner, and then it fades out, which is pretty cool. But it's playing, what if I don't want it playing during my animation or my movie? Well, I'm going to take this movie file and I'm going to drag it to the end here, which is all good. So now when I play it, I see my title sequence, and then it fades out, and then it's there. All that is good, but I don't like how it just goes and then instantly, boom, right there, movie. So I'm going to remedy that real quick by adding in a solid layer. So my solid layer is black for the background, just by default. You can add any other layer that you want, color layer, but I'm going to do a layer, new, solid, and I'm just going to keep this as a black solid, and that's fine. You can change it to whatever you want. So I'll say okay. So now there's a new layer. It says black solid. All of that is good. My text plays on top of it, but it's always going to be over my movie. So what I want to do is open up, I'm going to close this, so my text, and I'm going to open up my black solid. And I have transform controls here, complete with opacity and rotation and scale. I don't need to rotate this. I just want it to fade out. So I'm actually going to open up this so I can see where my keys are on my text layer. And on my black solid layer, I'm going to change the opacity. I'm going to key it right here on the first frame for 100. So I'm going to hit the little stopwatch, and it adds a key. And I want it to fade out with my text. So I'm going to put, it's 100 right here on my text. So I'm going to put 100 right here on this. I'm going to hit the little key diamond, and then I'm going to fade it out with this one. This one is at 0. You can see as I hover over it. So I'm going to add another one right here and make it 0. And so now it'll fade into, slide this movie file over a little bit. So when I play it now, it spirals, fades out, and then my movie starts. A lot smoother transition there. Similar things can be done for credits towards the end. You'll see different settings here for keying different types of frames. But that's it for now. A little intro into adding in a title sequence and fade in on in After Effects. And we'll see you next time.